Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for being here with us, Madam Secretary. Really appreciate it. You know my great interest on the broadband deployment. We've talked about this several times. So just kind of quick questions. I heard you mention May 16th. You had testified before that that's going to be the day that you're going to be soliciting or beginning to solicit state plans. Is that still?
Yes, that's the plan. We are charging towards that date.
Okay. You had also mentioned in previous testimony that each state is going to have a representative from NTIA that's going to help them move. How are you doing on that? Have you appointed those? Are you still sticking with that original plan?
Yes, we're still sticking with that original plan. The way I want to run this is that every state has a person they can call. So if there's any issue in West Virginia, you call such and such.
Right.
So we haven't yet recruited everyone. We're in the process. We are aggressively hiring. We're more than halfway there, I can tell you, and we're like onboarding people every day.
Well, we're anxious for that, as you can imagine. We have talked too about the different conflicts between FCC, RDOF, USDA, Reconnect, some ARC programs, and then NTIA programs. We're running into a bit of an issue with this on the coordination factor. Can you go through an RDOF region if you're connecting two different, say, counties? How are you doing on that coordination? You said you were going to put together a committee to work on this. I mean, we're still not getting the good answers here.
Yeah, I appreciate the question. I was in South Carolina Friday with Whip Clyburn, and I met with community people, and the same thing came up. How do we do this? So I think that at our level, the White House is coordinating an interagency so that Mitch Landrieu gets us all together on a regular basis and our teams together. But the truth of it is, I think the most impactful thing is that every state, when they put together their state plan, we're requiring them to detail in their state plan how they're going to use all of their federal money. So, for example, in the West Virginia state plan, they're going to have to show us on paper how they plan to use RDOF, how they plan to use USDA, how they plan to use tribal, and we're hoping that by putting it all in one place, it will enable us to better coordinate.
Yeah, so here's the problem. I know RDOF's not your problem, but RDOF's got a 5-year window, so if the whole program shows out that everybody's going to be deployed from that program, which we know is not going to happen, we know at some point the providers are going to send the money back, they couldn't do it or pay the fine or whatever, we're going to be 5 years down the road and realize, we should have worked better together. I would like to see, I would hope that you would have a carve out for the broadband deployment area and not have this just be a general coordinating committee, because if you're trying to coordinate
absolutely,
transportation, water, and all this, and it's never going to get down to the detail it needs to. So this is a big issue, and we're luckily and unluckily, we're eligible for a lot of funding because we still have a lot of unserved and underserved. But you can see if the conflicts come in, at the end of it, we don't want to say, wow, we're still not there yet. So anything we can do on that to work with you, we have a lot of good data. We would like to do that.
Thank you.
Inflation of prices, what kind of impact is that going to have on the ability to deploy? What are you seeing there? Because I'm hearing this everywhere.
Yeah, so by the way, on the first thing, I should have clarified, these are broadband-specific meetings that we have, just broadband. Secondly, listen, I agree with you. It's among the greatest challenges of this, and I think there's no one answer. It's constant, obsessive communication, collaboration, and working with the team. So I'll follow up with you. We need to increase domestic supply. Like the bottom, and I am working with domestic producers of fiber and cable. We need to increase domestic supply. That is the way
to get the price down.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, sorry, right. The demand. Listen, this is economics 101. Because we're spending all this money for broadband deployment, demand is going to be higher for all of this equipment, and so we need to increase supply. And there are Buy American provisions in the statute. So I am working very aggressively with. There's only one. Corning is the one producer in the U.S., and we're meeting with them and with the ISPs to try to use the occasion of this increased demand to get them to increase domestic supply so we create jobs and prices don't go up.
Well, the good news for us on Corning is they have a great legacy in the state of West Virginia where they were in the glassmaking business. So we will follow up with
Maybe
them.
get more jobs out of this and lower prices.
That would be good. I do have a question on EDA, but I'll submit that for the record, and thank you.
Thank you, Senator Capito. Senator